Mark Twain, the author of the novel The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. So, Mr. Twain.
Call me Mark.
Okay, Mark. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, it's mainly a story about a young boy who runs away from his dad because he doesn't like how his dad is treating him. He wants to be free. And he runs into a runaway slave named Jim. And they decide to run away together and have some good times down the river. And they end up becoming really good friends.
Okay, so there are a lot of themes in this book, and it is a really good book. So what would you say is your favorite theme?
Well, I would say that has to be the theme of friendship. Because, well, especially because it was written during slave times, it really can show that race doesn't have to be a factor.
So, what made you want Huck and Jim to be such close friends when Huck is a white boy and Jim is a black slave?
Well, especially in these times, I know that this book was very controversial, but I wrote it that way just to show people that race and color doesn't have to distinguish between friendship. Friendship can be universal and love can be found in all kinds of places.
So Mark, who is Huckleberry Finn? What made you want to create this character?
Well, during this time period, many of the children in that age had racism taught to them at early ages. They were shown that that's right and that's what they should do, especially in the South. And they just grew up with this sense that blacks were inferior to them. But I created Huck to show that even any everyday normal kid, you don't have to conform to the normal thoughts of society, and you should be able to have your own thoughts as a person and what you believe is right or wrong.
Alright, so in this time period there was a lot of slavery going on. What do you think of the transition from how things were back then and how things are now?
Well, the youth especially has a lot to, they've really differentiated in a way. So back then, well, especially because of modernization and such things like wars and civil rights movements and stuff, we all know now that racism is wrong and it's looked down upon by most of our society. And that we've been able to grow up with more of a sense of liberty and giving everybody equal rights and freedoms. And back then it was all about oppressing a certain race and making yourself feel better knowing that you weren't at the bottom of society.
In this time period, did you think slavery was wrong, or were you like most people just going along with it?
Well, personally I thought it was wrong, but at the same time I couldn't really speak up about it in a type of way where I would be lynched along with other blacks just in screaming for liberty. So I wrote this book in a way to get back, to get back at society in a way that I wouldn't be chastised.
So Mark, this is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. What are some adventures Huck and his friends get into?
Well, there is this part in the story where Huck and Jim do run into some con men. I'll let you read that part on your own, but basically they get into a situation where they can become rich very quickly and steal a lot of money. But Huck eventually sees how much people it really hurts and how it hurts really innocent people and can actually end up being worse. So he and Jim end up getting away from that, and that's just one of the adventures that they go on.
Okay, and I noticed when reading this that Jim isn't involved in a lot of the scenes. Why isn't he really involved?
Well, he is still a black person. In those times, slaves couldn't be seen alone or with a small amount of people, and especially because they were looking for a runaway slave, which Jim just so happened to be.
So Mark, do you think it's important to teach our kids at a young age to accept everybody for what they are and not how they look or how they even act?
Well, I do think that that's important. Teaching kids at a young age to be liberal in their thoughts and to be able to remain equal and keep equality in their mindset, just to know that we're all humans and we're all the same.
So The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is a really good book, and I highly recommend it, and I'm pretty sure the author himself recommends it. So thank you for your time, Mark Twain, and hopefully we will see you all soon. Let's start. Hello, today we're here with Mark Twain, the author of the novel The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. So, Mr. Twain, tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, it's made.
God damn it, say
Oh, God. Tell us a little bit about your book. God damn it!
See, now it's recording.
On top of the potatoes.
On top of the morning. Judge everybody for what they are and not how they.
What?
Okay. Hold on, wait, I got this. And Hearing Things. Huckleberry Finn is a really good book, and I highly recommend it, and I'm pretty sure the author himself recommends it. So thank you for your time.
Damn it! Thank you for it.
I don't think I heard it. Okay.
I want your potato.
My potato. What else? Fair winds.
What?
Oh, I want to say that.
Fair winds.